Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Buried Screams by C. Dean Anderson. And this is from Zebra. I'm going to go with back cover copy because why not? It came from below. Stone Ridge was a peaceful, almost boring little dot on the Kansas prairie until the night a bottomless shaft mysteriously appeared in the town cemetery, and one by one, something below began scaring the people of Stone Ridge to death. And knew just how to scare them. Carl, Beth, and Eric were well acquainted with fear. For years, they'd been plagued with painful scars from their childhood, terrible secrets that had long been buried. But something below wanted these three in its legion, and one thing it knew was how to unearth buried terror. Thrown into their worst nightmares, Carl, Beth, and Eric had no choice but to endure the horror, unless they found the way out of the darkest pit they'd ever known. So, for the too long didn't watch folks, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this book. This was such a fun horror novel. It just hit all the right notes for me. Now, I picked this up and chose to, buy it and read it because Judith Sonnet, one of my favorite people, one of my favorite authors, was singing its praises some time ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. I know I've had this book for a little while, and just October seemed like the perfect time to read it. And I am so glad that I did. This starts with a cold open where we have Carl, Beth, and Eric, and it's Eric with a K, and he's the first character mentioned, so you know it's got to be good. But the cold open is Eric, Beth, and Carl as children, and so we learn about what their childhood trauma is. Then we jump to the present day, which in this case is, I believe it was 89, but let's double check. Nope, 92. 1992 is when this came out. And so we become reacquainted with Eric, Beth, and Carl. They're adult lives now, and we're introduced to some other characters, and then some weird stuff starts happening, and then we get to that pit that is opened up in the cemetery. And this is it's very well written. The characters, I loved all the characters, even the ones that, aren't great people, but they're well written. There's one crotchety old man who, he's known as a drunk and loves the town gossip. But I liked his character. I enjoyed when I was reading parts with him. Eric has the hardware store and is the town marshal, which is kind of almost like a part-time job because nothing really goes on. But now in this book takes place, I don't think this would be considered a spoiler, all takes place over one day. And it's a hell of a day for Eric the marshal. Carl runs the pharmacy. No, Carl is a writer. Also has the farm. Where does the pharmacy come in? Anyway, Carl writes horror novels. Beth is a mortician, basically inherited that position from her father. And so the old man, I wish I could remember his name, works in the cemetery, and he notices the pit, and it is in a specific location for the story. And so he gets Eric the marshal. They go and look at it. They're going to go talk to the person who's affected by the fact that it's the specific location. And because Beth is the mortician, they're going to talk to her about it. They got to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, while we're following these three, basically our three main characters, we're jumping around to other people in the town and other things happening. And I don't want to say what it is, but I love those things. It's regular viewers will know that my favorite subgenre of horror is killer animals. This is not a killer animals book, but the thing that's happening in this town is very near and dear to my heart as far as horror goes. I will also say, and again, I don't think this is a spoiler, it is all contained within the town. And so, excuse me, it's a very isolated story. And again, it takes place over one day, takes place in this very small location. It's not like just in one house. It is in a town, but it is a very small town. And it's just wonderful characters. And we know what the damage of the main characters is, what the damages are. I'm talking about plural people. What would be the best way to say that? Anyway, because we know their trauma, we can understand their actions throughout the book and just their interrelationships. Carl and Eric are best friends. Beth and Carl have a budding relationship, and but they also have, they have some relationships with other people in the town. Again, small town, everybody kind of knows everybody and everybody's business. And I'd love to tell you what it is, this thing that's going on in the town that I love so much, but I don't want to spoil anything because 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. If you can find a copy of this book, pick it up and read it. It's not the most terrifying thing you're ever going to read, but I think you'll very much enjoy it. Because again, great characters, well written. I don't know if fast paced is necessarily the right word for it, but it moves along at no point. I didn't want to put it down. It's been a long time since I've had a book that really sort of pushed me to, or tempted me to stay up late to read it. But I know that's going to have negative consequences the next day at work, especially since I get migraines if I don't get enough sleep. So I was barely able to put it down, but it was so close. Every night when I was reading it, I just wanted to keep reading it. I found the story compelling. So yes, there's something going on, something evil going on. It involves Eric, Carl, and Beth, and the rest of the townspeople. And I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Buried Screams, C. Dean Anderson, Zebra Books. I haven't actually looked anywhere to see if there's a new edition of it or anything available, but I highly, highly recommend this book. Excuse me. So, as usual, I did not think of a question ahead of time. So, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with a question this time. Just, let's talk about stuff in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Blue Sky in the description below. And that's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.